What's happening, guys? Welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. I'm Mike Spider Slayer, and this is
John McCormack of Comic Central.
That's right, guys. This is like becoming an annual thing now. We're doing this every year, where we're going to be talking about, Free Comic Book Day, and we're going to be going over all the comic books that are going to be being released, so you know which ones are there. And obviously, Comic Central, if you're local, definitely has stuff going on. So, John, talk about it.
So, for our store, Free Comic Book Day, Saturday, May 6th. We're open from 9 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. We're doing some cool sales. We're doing 20% off all graphic novels, hardcovers, manga, trade paperbacks. We're doing some mystery boxes that have like Funko Pops in them. But really, we're excited to be here for the community and celebrate comic books.
Yeah,
It's always fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the greatest day of the year. And the funny thing is like, I was talking to John, and I'm like, I'm not going to be there this year for Free Comic Book Day.
Neither will I.
And this man's getting married, so it's pretty insane. But my daughter has a dance competition, but at least we'll get to talk about these books that are being released, which is always a lot of fun.
This will be, I think, 7 years. That will be my first comic book day missed in like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah,
I
haven't missed one either in a long time. So, but it is what it is.
But we're here now.
Exactly, to let you guys know what's out there. So if you're, if you want to fly down just to visit Comic Central, go ahead, man.
A lot of you guys have come into the store. You have talked about Spider Slayer here, and it's always fantastic when people come in and like drop it in, like, hey, you know Spider Slayer? I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's funny because I always mention it in the in my comic book haul. Always saying, oh yeah, stop by, tell them Mike Spider Slayer sent you, because it's just cool. We want to know, who stops by and actually watches the videos, and now.
Yeah, keep saying it, because it's super awesome to hear. Too.
Yeah,
like from a retail standpoint, it's really cool to hear people say, oh hey, I found you guys because of Spider. Like it's a really cool community, guys.
Right? And we got to support the local comic shops, keep them in business, and like I said, you can always get a mysterious black bag, so it's there for you.
Black shirt, black bag.
So, all right, let's get started. And where are we starting today, John?
So we're starting with a book that I think a lot of people are going to be really excited for. There's a lot of Power Rangers fans out there, and Boom Studios is doing a preview of the Ranger Academy.
So, maybe this is could be the next generation of Power Rangers, Now, I just want to let you guys know that we can't show the art inside, so unfortunately, but we can tell you a little bit about what the story is.
You'll have to see our reaction.
Yeah. But it's got this cartoony feel to it.
It feels, it feels high school. It feels like it's going to be the high school drama of Ranger Academy, and I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah.
At the very end, it does say to be continued in Ranger Academy #1, so look forward to that later in the year.
Well, how do you feel about a new legacy of
I'm down.
Power Rangers? Are you?
I think so. Especially with something like Ranger Academy. So I don't know if you remember, DC did a book called Gotham Academy.
Oh yeah, I love that.
And I loved that.
Yeah.
Book. So you have, especially if you tie it into the weird and mysterious. I think you can get away with doing kids with semi powers in a high school. That's a very interesting trope if it's written.
That's why I like Strange Academy.
Me too. Yeah, Strange Academy, Gotham Academy, all the academies.
Yeah, and as of today, that series is ending, so that's unfortunate.
That stinks, right? It's such a fun book.
If I had to ask you a question, because I've been asking people this, what would you want to see next out of those characters from Strange Academy?
Stranger Academy? A sequel?
Yeah. Do you want to see a sophomore year?
That would be cool. So I wonder, at some point, since we're dealing in the magical universe, I wonder if, and we'll get to it later, I wonder if it's going to tie into this, into Hickman's book.
That would be interesting.
I wonder if he uses any of those because he's doing science and magic.
Yeah, that would be cool. I just don't want those characters to go anywhere.
Right.
Because I think he did such a great job at introducing those characters.
And to keep them in... I want them back.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as they keep them here.
Right.
So the next book we have, Everybody loves themselves some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Hell yeah.
So this looks like the Saturday morning cartoon version of it. And it is exactly that.
Yep.
So it's I'm pretty sure this is a preview of number 1 that came out like 6 or 7 months ago.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
They're coming out with another volume of it too. Season 2, number 1 comes out. And then there's a little preview for Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Nickelodeon movie. I think they're just tying it in. The art is just insane.
It's easy Turtles fun. Like, this is an easy pickup on Free Comic Book Day.
And it's great for the kids.
All ages,
so if you want to introduce your kids to the Turtles, definitely pick that book up.
And it feels, you get a little bit of retro with the Saturday morning cartoons aspect. You get the new with the Nickelodeon, so you get a little mishmash of all the turtle types.
Right. Okay, cool.
So we got a little bit more, we're going a little bit more mature on the next one. Umbrella Academy with the Witcher preview.
Oh, interesting.
So this is a new story, and the story continues in Umbrella Academy's Academy. It's all academies here. And then Witcher just kind of looks fun.
Oh, that's cool artwork though, man. That looks nice. Yeah.
I dig it. I'm a big fan of the Witcher universe. This is also a new story. So both of the books in here for Umbrella and The Witcher have new stories, which is really cool. And those are both worlds that we're all familiar with, given the Netflix shows.
Right.
So Dark Horse Comics is doing some really cool like Netflix tie-ins, giving us new material. Gerard Way is giving us new material.
I think that's cool. I mean, whenever you can get new stories out of, Free Comic Book Day, it's a plus, because it's just like you're not always reading,
regurgitating the same.
Exactly.
As much as like, so that's I think how you get new readers.
Absolutely.
Is new stories.
Yep.
So like giving snippets, giving everyone a little bit of like taste, but it's also perfect because it's like more to come. If you liked this, follow this, and it really brings people. It brings people in on the day. And then it also brings people in later. So it brings them in for the stories again. Right.
Now, the funny thing is like, this really doesn't have to do anything with comics, but last night we were eating dinner and we were watching, the show Nailed It on Netflix, the baking show. So they had a Halloween edition to it, and the episode we were watching was a Halloween episode with The Witcher. They had to cook stuff, bake stuff with The Witcher. And I was like,
it's Nailed It. Who's the host of that?
Oh, it's that female African American woman. She's like heavy set. She's a comedian.
Is it Yvette Nicole Brown?
Yes.
Is it from Community?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Dude, she is hilarious, man.
I love Community.
Oh god.
Show always. So next, we got Madballs versus Garbage Pail Kids.
So is this It looks like, I think it's a retelling of this story.
Yeah, so I know you were reading.
Yeah, I read the first issue,
Which is...
Dude, it's hilarious. So if you're like a total 80s kid, that's what this book is. The Garbage Pail Kids, which were stickers, but people never used them as stickers. They used them as cards. And then you got Madballs, which were these little foamy things that were disgusting. And you combine the two, and then you have these two battle each other. That's basically what this is.
Madballs versus Garbage Pail. This looks so fun.
Yeah.
There's 3 different little like vignette stories in here.
Oh,
and then some like
you can, keep track of your characters in there.
Some like do-it-yourselves and like fun.
It's like an activity book inside.
Oh, that's really fun. Dynamite did really well with this. I dig that.
That's awesome.
That'll be a fun pickup.
Absolutely.
Everybody loves this story, it seems. Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures, which is Dark Horse's Star Wars.
This is the kids friendly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it also features what I'm excited for, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Cool.
Yeah. So
yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks similar to what we've been reading in the actual High Republic Adventures. This is also a new story, which is really cool. And I think this is just a little one shot.
Gotcha.
That doesn't tie into anything else necessarily, but this is what I'm excited for.
I was never a Last Airbender person.
I
never got into it. I think it was like past my time.
The art looks great. The story looks fun. It's set in the main Avatar: The Last Airbender universe. I mean, if you're an Avatar fan, pick this up.
Cool.
It's awesome.
Awesome.
Star Trek.
I'm not a Star Trek guy.
I'm not a big Star Trek. It is a prelude to a series they are doing, a crossover series called Day of Blood.
Right.
which if we're gonna cross
cool
things
artwork.
cross everything over here.
That's really nice. But I was always like, there was Star Wars and Star Trek, and when I saw Star Wars, I'm like, this is so much better.
But I can give you, here's the little preview page of your Days of Blood checklist, which comes in this book, which is always nice to keep with you guys. Checklists are fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. Especially to a book that we're going to talk about later with that DC book. Oh my gosh.
I'll have spreadsheets, like Excel sheets of like, okay, I got this, I need this, I got this. I've read these 5 books, so I need these 7 books. Organization.
Yeah, it's everything in comics.
So I guess that was a little bit of like the media-based books that are coming out. So the next thing I figure we'll do is kids comics.
Yeah, we'll do the kids because a lot of times why we have Free Comic Book Day, you want to kind of get reading to the younger audience, and you want to introduce them, to comics. I mean, the next generation, it's so important to keep this medium alive. Now, the one thing that a lot of the younger audience gravitates to these days is what's right behind us. Is this, right?
And I mean,
and we have a stack of them too. But we want to keep comics going. So bring your kids in here, introduce them to some comics, and you can't go wrong with free.
You can't go wrong with free.
Yeah.
So the first thing that we're showing is the 65th anniversary, the Smurf-iversary.
Wow.
I don't know if they're calling it that, but let's start that.
It's like
an old newspaper.
Yeah, it is definitely.
That's dope.
That's cool.
It's actually printed really well too. I dig it.
Yeah, it looks just like the Smurf cartoon.
Next we got Mexikid, which is a graphic memoir. It's a Penguin Random House young adult novel. And this is a little snippet of, it gives you like preview pages of a graphic novel that will come out in August of this year.
Okay, cool.
So, I know this is like an older thing, right? Sweet Valley
Twins, maybe. Yeah,
it's like an older thing, but they're redoing it for sort of like the
modern
new
day.
age.
Yeah.
Bring your kids. Like, this is a great book to pick up for the kids to get into, and then if they like it, they have something else they can go to afterwards.
Absolutely. Oh. It's the investigators. They're back. They seem like every Free Comic Book Day or any type, like the Halloween one.
Yeah, Halloween Comic Fest. Yeah. There's always an investigators book, and it always does so well because it's so fun. Right. It's so cute. It's
totally like Dogman.
It's very Dogman. Yeah. It's the same. So like, I rack investigators with Dogman.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Because like, a kid will be like, "Oh, I've read all 92 Dogmans 14 times over."
My daughter read every single one.
Yeah. And then the question is like, what's new?
Mm-hmm.
What else can I get them into? And I always point to investigators, and it's a hit every single time. Grab a copy for your kids.
I think we should have more comics like this for kids.
They're starting to make them.
That's good. I mean, because it doesn't always have to be superhero comics.
Yeah, no.
Right? Comics like this is good, and they read them, and then eventually...
But then it gets them into... So then they have thoughts of like, oh, I read that as a kid, and I loved it. I want to read what's the newest comic book.
Yeah.
So it brings them back into the stores. Mm-hmm. Like me. Like, I read Captain Underpants as a kid.
Right.
And then when I was 16, I was like, oh, I want to go back into a comic store. And then 18, and then I ended up here.
You progress with the ages. Yeah.
So, I mean... Because it needs no introduction, the next thing is obviously Dogman. Dave Pilkey has set up a world that is like no other. His books sell.
Oh, dude, it's so classic. Yeah, you can totally. It's totally what you expect, artwork wise.
And he's bridged generations now, because like
sure.
I grew up with Captain Underpants, and then the new generation has Dogman.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing. It's the same feeling.
Yeah.
It evokes the same sort of sentiment from like generation to generation. So like, the other beauty of graphic novels that are made for kids is it's a really good way to promote reading.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes kids don't want to read long, drawn-out novels. Like, not every kid was me and wanted to read East of Eden when they were 10 years old.
Right, exactly.
So, like, it's a really good way to get younger readers into books.
Yeah.
Books in general. And promoting reading, promoting literacy, promoting all of this awesome stuff that keeps us here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And then the next one is, I think this was a novel series called The Last Kids on Earth, but they're turning it into a comic book called The Last Comics on Earth.
Yes, yeah. The Last Kids on Earth was a book series.
Yeah.
My son read it when he was younger. It was a Netflix series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
They're doing comics now,
Cool.
and it looks cool.
There you go. So again, they're hitting right on that beat there.
And then keeping with Scholastic, Babysitter's Little Sister. It was
It's based off of Babysitter's Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Katie Farina does this book. It sells well. It really hits.
Yeah, these are some good kid comics for sure.
This is Kato Katara?
Maybe? You're asking me. I'm the guy that butchers everyone's names and like from comic books and I could begin to pronounce that.
You guys tell us. Like I think it's
Kato
Katara.
Kata or Kodo?
Kodo?
Oh, Kata, maybe because of the two T's.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
okay.
It's kind of
this total like
Disney comics is whatever.
That's what it is, or it reminds me of like Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Comics of an older time. Which was
Maybe
originally Barbarian.
Like,
but
fantasy.
Yeah. So I have these in groups, and I originally had an 8th group of these that made no sense, so I had to rename them. So this was Barbarian, and now it's Comics of an Older Time.
I think this one kind of throws that.
It
off.
really does. So we're going to start off
Yeah.
with the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers.
Mm-hmm. It's weird.
Also featuring Fat Freddy's cat.
Yeah. Oh, this is weird.
This feels like the only way to describe it is groovy.
Yes, very 70s.
Very 70s.
Very 70s style. And even some of it's black and white.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That looks newer, though.
Yes.
Of interest.
Wow, there's a lot of dialogue.
There's a lot of dialogue in this. This is a good book. Like
for free?
For free.
You got a lot to read.
Get content in this. And like, who doesn't want themselves like? Look at these guys. Dude, look at those noses. Like, those are prominent.
Oh, that's totally 70s though.
Look at the Doob. Just
like, oh yeah.
Should be called the Doob.
The Doobie Brothers, huh?
RuneScape. I remember this from when I was in middle school, but I guess it's still popping.
Is it always been a comic, or has it been
a
book series?
I'm pretty sure RuneScape started as like a World of Warcraft style.
Oh, really?
Online gaming.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember my buddy in middle school, high school, just diving so far into RuneScape.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, RuneScape's fun if you're
from Titan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Like
all right.
And then we got Red Sonja. So Dynamite's doing another Red Sonja #1. Red Sonja #1 coming out in July. Looks cool. I'd love me some Red Sonja.
A lot of Red Sonja books, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them. There's always like,
covers.
look at this.
Yeah.
There's a ton of them.
I think the Red Sonja #1 has like 29 covers. Great.
Dynamite's insane with variants. They're worse than Marvel.
So they sell though.
Yeah. Oh, because they're attractive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this. So the licensing of this book of Conan the Barbarian has sort of bounced from Dark Horse to Dynamite. Marvel had it, and now it's Titan Comics. But the guy who was writing it for Marvel is continuing to write it for Titan. Jim Zub.
Interesting. Wow.
And I like his stories. I like the way he writes Conan.
Wow, this is very classic looking Conan right here. Very much so.
This kind of looks like what Jason Aaron was doing in Marvel too. So like,
it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. New era begins. Conan Barbarian #1 in summer. Grab this book. It'll be
if you're I think if you're a longtime Conan fan, like fan of like 80s, 70s, even when they had those magazines of Conan, I think this is going to be right up your alley.
And this is the Frank Frazetta verse. So Dawn Attack. A
lot of people are huge fans of
Death
the artwork
Dealer.
of Frazetta.
So it's Opus Comics. They're heavy metal. It's heavy metal.
Yeah.
And you give me heavy metal. I'm
beautiful cover, man.
Beautiful cover. Frank Frazetta is awesome. Give this book a try if you want a little bit more of an R-rated free comic book day experience. That is not for the kids.
No, absolutely not.
manga-esque.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. So we're going to start off with the one that is the least bit manga-esque. This is called Punch Up by Oni Press. This feels more in line with the kids' comics, but this feels more young adultish.
Okay.
So I think it's gonna skew maybe a little bit more.
It's totally anime, dude.
Yeah, that's fair. See,
He's like, let's go! You know, everything is over-exaggerated.
Very showy,
yeah.
Oh, and it has weird creature. It actually looks kind of fun.
Yeah. What is this? Mech Cadets. Is this based off of Mech Cadet U? Cadet U, I think it was?
It has to be. Yeah, and it has the Netflix insignia.
So it's going to be a Netflix show.
Yeah, it's a boom book. Greg Pak.
Greg Pak, cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, it's called Mech Cadet U, right?
Yeah, that's what it was originally, and now this looks like almost like a kid's...
For a kid-friendly version.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because Kaboom is their kid-friendly imprint.
Okay, gotcha. Who doesn't like big, gigantic robots, right? And then here you got kids flying them.
And then, like, you can pick up the comic book series. They're doing a Netflix thing, so there's sort of multimedia crossovers here.
Better watch out. Netflix.
You better not
Spec
cry.
book. What's this?
Another all-new Shaman King anime streaming now on Netflix. This is a manga Shaman King Flowers preview.
Oh wow!
And
this is total manga, right?
Yeah. Shaman King is a pretty popular manga series.
100% here.
This is for the manga lovers.
Black and white all the way through.
A new Shaman King preview, and then there's a preview for Welcome to Demon School. This looks really fun if you're into manga. If your kids are into manga. Chaojin X, and then there's an excerpt from a book called Rooster Fighter, which is as fun and weird as it sounds.
Crazy color.
I know. This looks very. Are you familiar with Junji Ito?
No. So
Junji Ito does horror manga.
Oh, okay.
And it's some of the best written horror stories. We'll get into my love of horror here in a minute.
Yeah, that's cool. It does look nice. This is like 100% a manga book, except in comic form. Even the pages, everything about it. Yeah, that's really cool.
I love it. And then Rooster Fighter. It's literally a rooster that goes. I know.
He reminds me of like the guy from Chew. Remember Poyo? Yes.
Oh my god. Yes. That's so funny. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's crazy. That's so way out there.
Rooster Fighter's a weird book, man, and this looks and so Chaojin X looks great in terms of it looks very Junji Ito horror-esque, but Rooster Fighter, get the preview, read the manga. You'll love it.
Really nice. What do we got next? Street Fighter.
Yeah. So I dig Udon. Like,
that's cool, man. Yeah. I like when you have a lot of characters in a Street Fighter book. You know, I think that's what you need in a Street Fighter book. And they're another one though too that always comes out on Free Comic Book Day. Every year.
They always have a preview of what they're trying to do. They've been pretty busy lately. They did the Street Fighter Cammy one shot last week. Yes, they're doing Darkstalkers Felicia this week. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited. Street Fighter. I mean, if you like Udon.
A lot of us here have grown up playing Street Fighter. Yeah. Right? I mean, we had Street Fighter. I played the original, like the very first one. I kid you not. It was, the arcade cabinet was huge. Yeah. And then it had these, it wasn't just buttons at the time. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but the original ones had these big punching bags on the machine.
No.
And you would literally, when you would say like you were Ken, right? You would sit there and fight and you would punch the bag as hard as
just
you
like
can. Yeah, and it was just you'd be
just
exhausted. Yeah. By the time you got to Saga at the end, at the very last, you're just
bleeding.
Done. Yeah. And I think they took that away because people were getting
just
injured.
breaking their knuckles.
Yeah, because people would think that the harder that you hit, the more power would take off.
Because it's almost psychosomatic. So like you really think that like you're like, oh, I'm playing.
Oh
like,
yeah.
If you've ever done VR, like you get into
it. Absolutely.
So our next thing is Animal Crossing and Kirby. I mean, so I looked at my so Animal Crossing's doing a manga through Viz, where they're just doing a story with all our favorite characters. Tom Nook is there. Oh, it's so cute. Animal Crossing, the last game, came out like the same day that the world shut down for the pandemic.
Was it that same time?
It was like March 16th of 2020.
Yeah, that's
I'm close to the right date there.
Right.
I think I played 300 hours of Animal Crossing.
I played the original one.
Yeah.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah, on GameCube?
Yep.
Oh my god, I played so many hours of that.
So many hours. But I was just sitting there on the Switch. It was like, somehow that month of my life was just like the most peaceful, serene. My blood pressure was down.
Yeah. You're just like
300 hours of Animal Crossing. And then there's a fun little Kirby.
Little adventure in it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is really a fun one for the kids, honestly. If the smaller children are into manga from like the Netflix stuff, definitely grab them Animal Crossing. There's 4 volumes of manga that I can grab.
Actual Animal Crossing. Yeah. Oh wow, that's cool.
And I can show. Like, it's really cute.
So that's kind of what it looks like inside that comic. Yeah. Oh, that's really neat, man. I did not know they had Animal Crossing manga. Wow.
The Battle for Pumpkin King. Neighbor Before Christmas. Everybody.
Classic. Yeah. That's just.
And the cool thing about this, it's in color.
Yeah, that is neat, man. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Oh, here it is. So, he's a fan of horror. I'm actually a fan of horror myself. I love horror comics. Good ones. One of the most recent ones that came out was the oh my god, the one where he's imaginary slasher.
The Nasty.
That was a really good comic.
So The Nasty was right up my alley. So we'll diverge here for 2 seconds. The Nasty, if you haven't read it, is a book about this kid ends up getting really, really obsessed with slasher films when he's really young, and his imaginary friend becomes one of the B-movie slashers. What we're saying is read The Nasty #1. There's no free comic book day version of it, but go to your local comic shops. If they don't have issue 1, request it. There's second printings and stuff. But
yeah, really well written book.
And it goes into the horror or the history of
horror
movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Which is awesome. So book 1, it's Archie Horror's The Cursed Library. I love Archie Horror.
Archie Horror, some of it's been really good.
Yeah.
There was one. What was the last one? The Betty? Was it
Betty Final Girl?
Yeah. See, I wasn't a huge fan of
loved
it.
it.
I get where they were going with it.
The slasher.
Yeah, I thought like it was written like an anthology, but kind of not. Right. So
it works almost better in this. Like, you get the snippet of Betty Final Girl here. So this character called Jinx, who's going to have her own little one shot later on, is sort of setting up a bunch of the Archie Horror books that we've gotten, like The Curse of the Willikin Boy that came out today. You get Night Shift from there was a book they did called Pop's Chocolate Shop, Rosemary's Babysitter, which is Betty the Final Girl. Right. I really like what they do here.
That's Shadow Man's returning?
Shut up. Again. It's Shadow Man.
Yeah, exactly. So Valiant, just in case. We don't know what's going on with Valiant these days. I think the only other book they really have out now is like Exo Man of War, and
I think so. I think they only
this one, that one right there.
From what I understand, they're only publishing one book at a time in full.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I mean,
I don't know how you stay in business
with one book at a time in full. At least it's consistent. Like, put out the one book, get it all finished, then start the next book.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it's true.
It's better than some books that take a year and a half for issue 2 to come out.
Yeah. Fright Night.
I've made this joke before. It's not that Tom Holland. I don't know whose or which Tom Holland it is. I should probably know that. But Tom Holland's Fright Night.
This Fright Night, I mean, is a classic movie, right?
Yes.
Fright Night, I remember when I was younger, was a movie, and I remember they go into this house, and the house is cursed, and all these crazy things start happening to these people, And it is a weird movie. So now having a comic book, I think
Tom
that's
Holland
cool.
is the director of the first original Fright Night movie,
Oh,
which makes more sense.
Okay.
So these books have been coming out from American Mythology Productions forever.
I gotcha.
So it's cool that they're doing a preview of them, but it's, I don't know, not my Tom Holland. It's the only thing I can ever think of when I see that book.
That's cool though, man. What is this one?
West of Sundown.
Oh, so yeah. I think I read the first issue of this and it just wasn't my thing.
So this is just a full printing of issue 1 of West of Sundown. That's awesome.
That's cool. So if
Yeah.
you never got a chance to read it.
Pick it up.
Yep.
It's the first volume is out in graphic novel form now, the first 5 or 6 issues. This is a creepy, weird monster book set in the Old West. I love it.
What's this?
Aftershock. They're doing something called Seismic Stories.
So
So the main thing they're doing, so they give you a new Animosity story if anyone's a fan of Animosity. But what they're really setting up is a graphic novel they're doing called The Darkness Brought Back. The Darkness We Brought Back.
okay.
I was reading that in. I was literally
You're
reading
reading
that from backwards from the phone.
You're like, I kind of have an
I can-
idea what
yeah,
it says.
I can make out the words. It kind of reminds me of I Know What You Did Last Summer.
It does. Yeah, it kind of has that
Yeah.
tone. You can tell.
The Darkness We Brought Back, I Know What You
Right.
Did Last Summer, same vein. But if you like horror, Aftershock's actually just putting it out in a graphic novel, which almost works better sometimes for horror comics.
What's this bad boy here?
So we'll go with this one first.
Okay.
And leave the two big boys for later. So, Animal Castle.
A lot of you guys probably know
You like Animal Castle
already. Yeah, it was really good. The only thing that I didn't like is the font in the book.
I know.
It's so small.
It is.
Look at. I mean, it looks a little bit better, but yeah. See here in the page, like everything's so tiny. You know.
It's very Orwellian.
Right.
Um,
But it's cool. It's neat to just see these animals rebel and all this other stuff. I'm curious though what they're going to do in this volume too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this came out very much like about a year ago. We had Stray Dogs was such a hit, and then Animal Castle got announced.
Yes.
And like they were doing like horror with animals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a big thing last year.
I like it. I like how you can get a little bit philosophical, but like, and it hurts more for some reason
Sure.
when animals. Get
Yeah, absolutely, because
hurt.
you feel bad for them.
So
Sacrificers.
the Sacrificers. So the next two books we have, we'll actually talk about in tandem. So they're two image number ones that are coming out, and these are previews for both of them.
Is that Jeff Lemire?
Jeff Lemire.
Huh.
So Jeff Lemire is doing a psychological horror book called Fireflies. Rick Remender's doing a weird sort of sci-fi book called The Sacrificers.
And they go together.
They go together just in terms of they're both image, and
Gotcha.
they're both coming out this summer. The Remender book looks phenomenal.
This looks good, man.
Yeah.
Rick Remender makes some great stuff, man. Oh, it's nice artwork too.
Artwork's beautiful.
Great tone.
This looks like this is like a 22 page preview.
That's a
New
phenomenal.
ongoing series
Yep,
coming this summer.
Yep.
To be continued. So this is a new story, a prelude that sets up the Sacrificers. I mean,
That's cool. I love that cover.
yeah.
Like you look at that and you're like, what's going on
What's
there, man?
happening here?
Yeah, that's a nice looking world too. And then you got Jeff Lemire. You know, he does the artwork in this and he writes this, so it's very it's like not quite black and white. It's like a
Very sweet tooth.
yeah. Well, of course, yeah.
Like even that guy kind
His
of
artwork is has such a weird feel.
It's very
to it.
visceral.
I'll pick it
If
up.
you're a Lemire fan, man, this looks
I'll pick it up for sure.
Yeah.
Anything that Jeff Lemire is doing for the most part has been pretty good. What's the most recent series that he's doing?
Phantom
right now?
Road.
Phantom Road, yeah, is a phenomenal book.
It's okay.
I like it. I think I like the mystery of it.
I like Lemire enough to like it.
To like it. Like they're in this weird upside down and they're like in cross between the both and they committed murder.
Yeah.
But they kind of did it in the last issue.
I think the last issue 1 was slow.
I agree. There wasn't enough.
Right. For an issue 1, so like issue 2 was so fast
Yeah.
that like
You're trying to find the balance?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that.
so now we have the big 2.
Ooh,
We got
okay.
DC and Marvel. We know a lot of comics are sort of DC and Marvel bound. What sort of my goal was in this video is to show like how much non-DC and Marvel is being put out and how exciting it truly can be. Because we get so bound by what's the new character that's going to show up in DC, what's the new character that's going to show up in Marvel. But like Jeff Lemire's putting out a new book, Rick Remender's putting out a new book, Ranger Academy's coming out, Turtles is coming out, Aftershock's doing good horror. Like we have exciting things to get behind in terms of reading that we sometimes get lost in the big two.
Yeah. Well, we have to remember why we fell in love with comics. Because you fell in love with the stories, not so much.
You fell in love with the character.
What's the next big thing?
And I'm all for the next big thing.
Right.
The next
I
big
am
thing
too.
is great.
I am too.
But
there's more than one dimension.
Right. Free Comic Book Day at its heart is about celebrating the love of reading comics.
Absolutely.
So with that said, there's some really cool things coming out from. We'll mix it up here. So the first thing, DC does these really cool like young adult graphic novels, and their next one is a Lois Lane story.
Okay.
Called Girl Taking Over.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I mean,
it's perfect. Again, it's a young adult story. YA.
Yeah.
I mean, they do a lot of that stuff. You see them in the bookstores.
This very much looks like if your kids or you read Beast Boy, Raven Beast Boy Loves Raven, Robin, any of those, this is very much in that vein. The legend.
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee.
I am Stan.
I am Stan. A graphic biography of the legendary Stan Lee. So this isn't actually
a Marvel
book.
Right.
But I figured we'd group it together because he is...
So it's basically giving you the story of Stan.
Yeah.
Just in comic form here.
He is Papa Comic.
Dialogue heavy, boy. Oh. I mean, they're big. They're big, but it is a lot of dialogue.
I wonder who that is.
Blind lawyer. That's awesome. The voices of Marvel.
Looks cool. Looks like it's very old school.
It has like a old school Silver Age style. Like if your comic book was really old, it's got the cream colored pages. That's basically what it looks like on the inside.
It might take you 3 hours to read. That's awesome.
Yes, that is it right there.
This is one of the comics that I don't have, but I've always wanted. It's 42.
That is a great last page right there.
So
yeah,
sort of middle grade. This is 2 previews for Clark and Lex, a young Superman graphic novel, and then Fan Club Batman Squad. Not much really needs to be said about these. These are just these are for the kids.
Yeah.
If your kids want to read Superman and Batman story that's just fun, grab this for them. That'll be great.
Cool.
More kids. This does well every year.
But the show does really well, John.
Yeah.
I mean, kids are all about this. My niece and a nephew who live in Israel watch this show.
That's cool.
And they dressed up as Gwen and Miles. Yeah, I mean,
It's so fun.
if this is a way to get kids into Spider-Man comics,
Perfect.
that show
All day.
in this comic,
All
yes,
day.
absolutely.
Like I will hand out. If Marvel sent me 1,000 of these, I'd hand them out.
Oh God, yeah.
Like
Great way to introduce kids to, Spider-Man. I say like these kids when they become 30, they'll say, "Well, how did you get into Spidey?" Well, it was Spidey
Jr.
and his amazing friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool.
And the little spider bug, like spider bug.
It's funny.
So this one,
Marvel Voices.
Marvel Voices. We've had a bunch of them put out lately. I think this is just sort of an amalgamation of them all.
Right.
I really like the way that the comic itself is set up because it lets new voices shine through.
Gotcha.
So pick up Marvel Voices. It's always the Marvel Voices books always do well.
Cool. All right.
The big three.
The big three. Let's see. What are we going to talk about first?
Uncanny.
Uncanny is the lesser of the three. So, Uncanny Avengers issue 1. So, who's right there? That's Captain Krakoa. That dude's coming back. What is up with him? What is he? Why is he there? It looks. Besides him, it looks pretty cool.
I mean, give me Deadpool. That's cool. What's Monet doing here?
I don't know, man.
Like, when's the last time we saw her?
Oh God, I don't know. It's just weird because some of these characters just come out of nowhere sometimes. I'm not gonna lie though, like this artwork in here,
it looks beautiful.
It looks phenomenal. It looks really, really good.
I mean, he's always getting his butt kicked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, cool.
Yep.
There's a husky there. I'm in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Captain Krakoa.
Yeah, with Captain America.
Oh, the two captains.
Do you think they're gonna walk by each other like Captain?
Yeah, right. I know. That's cool. That last page right there.
The
is
hunt
nice.
for Captain Krakoa.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm in. It's Duggan, like or Dugan.
Yeah, you gotta try it, right?
And then,
but this is the big thing right here.
There's a small 4-page preview in the back of this book for Jonathan Hickman's Gods.
Yep.
Again, science and magic. The romance at the crossroads of science and magic.
What can you expect? I mean, he's doing the ultimates. He's doing this, and that preview, really doesn't do really any justice to what it's about.
Beautiful.
But it looks good.
So what catches me is that tagline.
Yeah.
A romance at the crossroads of science and magic. Like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm sold. I'm good.
Absolutely.
So DC's big summer event. So like Future State last year, they're stopping most of their publishing line in June and July, I believe. It's Josh Williamson doing horror. So if you're a fan of any of his horror stuff, Nailbiter, Ghosted, Dark Ride, it's going to be like that, but just in the DC universe. And
Lots of little artwork there.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
And all the people in the DC universe are going to confront their nightmares.
Right. I'm not gonna lie, it looks really good. I mean, I know people are really exhausted with events.
I can show you this.
Look at that, guys. And I know
that's the checklist. So like it's actually, so if you break it down, it's less books than they publish in a normal month.
That's true. It looks there was.
So if
like,
it's only 23,
you're right.
Plus whatever, like I know, like Batman, Superman's not stopping, but like if we're only doing 23 DC books in a month, like that is so much lower than their entire publishing line. So
no, it's 46. It's 23 on each side.
2 different months.
Oh, okay.
One July and August.
Oh, so yeah, you're right. That totally makes sense.
So it's not that bad. It's hectic. I say if you're reading Poison Ivy,
then you read that.
Then read G. Willow Wilson's Night Terror's Poison Ivy. Like go to it. But this gives you a preview. It gives you a checklist. It gives you some rockin' covers.
Let me tell you, these variant covers,
dude,
are
poppin'.
Oh my god, these could be covers of the year.
Yeah,
they are so like
this Ravager,
so horrific here. And then one is so fantasy-like.
Yeah.
Like, look at this Joker cover. Oh, my God.
Nightwing just...
Really good, guys.
Those, yeah.
Really good. You're going to want to make sure whatever shop you go to, if they have an FOC, please...
Order books ahead.
Order early, because...
It makes my life easier. It makes my answers easier.
That's awesome. All right. There we go. The bad boy. Every year.
Book numero uno.
Right? So we got Spider-Man, Venom coming out here. Artwork looks great. It's, fans that are jonesing for some solid artwork when it comes to
non-Romita.
Yeah. You got Patrick Gleason doing the artwork in this book.
It's
so
good.
It's really
I'm
cool.
so happy. It looks...
It's so bright. Why can't he just be on the book regularly?
Please? Thank you.
Come on, man.
I love Spider-Man and John Romita's artwork.
No.
I'm being paid to say that.
Yeah.
No.
We have so many conversations about this guy's artwork. It's so funny, man. And then what's this other... Oh, yeah, that's right. We were looking at this before. What is this story? Is it... What is this story? What is it?
It looks like...
Is it Venom? It's the Venom story.
It looks like he's like... This looks like a squatty potty.
There's a new villain here, okay? And I can give you the description of that this character is like a Stretch Armstrong. And it's just... it's very disturbing, like... And Venom does battle against this thing.
I'm down.
And
then you get the Ultimate Invasion.
Yeah, Ultimate Invasion little preview there. That's crazy,
Let's
man.
bask in the greatness of this. Like, this picture is forever burned in my brain.
It's like a sex toy.
arms-
It's what it is.
Do you remember? I don't know if you remember when the pandemic happened. They were sending the link, like they'd send you a link, and it was just a picture of the guy, just like that.
Yeah.
And this reminds me of.
Oh
that.
my god!
I don't know if anyone else remembers that.
It's so weird.
It's great. I guess we cannot say his name, but
Oh yeah. Oh, so based off of the name, I was kind of right about that.
yeah.
Oh, dude, that's hilarious.
I mean, this is the book that needs no introduction. 99% of everybody is going to pick up the Spider-Man Venom book.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of fun.
Free comic book day.
Yeah.
That was it. So, free comic book day, May 6th, 2023. Be there, celebrate comics, celebrate reading, celebrate just the joy of being in small business retail.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So hopefully you guys stop by here and your other local shop. John, it's been a pleasure once again to do it. Hopefully we'll get to do it again next year. And appreciate you guys watching the video.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll see you real soon.
We'll see you soon.
As always, keep buying, keep collecting, and always read those comics. Guys, take care.